Loss is universal. Anger is universal. Pain is universal. But it need not be without meaning. Think of all that you've learned. Think of where you are today. Think of what you've overcame. Think of the strength that has been given to you. And think that most of that, if not all of it, came from the hardest moments in your life. You know, I wouldn't blame you if the title of this video, What to Do When You're Hurt, might sound pretty heavy and also basic. Because how could I know what your hurt is like? And to be honest, I don't. But I know what mine is like. I know that there's hurt I still carry. I know that even though I've given my life to Christ, it does not mean an absence of pain and suffering. But I do know that how you go through the pain is a choice. And it's a choice that is not really pretty no matter which way you go. But one of the routes leads to a place where you are actually healed and can grow and move forward in your life. As you may have caught from my previous video, I shared a little bit about things that I lost and how fast they happened. But those weren't the only losses in my life. Death comes for all of us, at least in the flesh. And that loss, that separation is something that is such an unfathomable experience to learn how to go through when we are creatures built off of connection. The reason why it hurts so much is because that connection is severed. And it's just gone. But the thing is it's not completely gone. It's still alive because the love that we have transcends everything. It transcends time and space. We love people we haven't seen in months and years. We love people that have been gone for decades. There's nothing that overcomes that love. But when it comes to loss and the pain of it, it's easy to get stuck in feeling that pain or trying to masquerade it. Now, those are two really heavy differences, and they will lead you to those two different places. If you masquerade the pain, you will distract yourself for a little while, find peace in the work that you're doing, or an idea that you have, or the job that you're working, or perhaps a new person in a new relationship that almost replaces the void that we are trying to fill when we have lost something. However, eventually those things run out. The distraction goes away. You actually have a moment of breath and pause. And when you pause, that's when everything comes back. All of the pain that you felt revisits again. When the distraction and the deterrent that you've done upon yourself, sometimes people do drugs. I know I have in the past. Sometimes we go to find another mate. I know I have done that. And sometimes we starve for anything that we can find to distract our minds, whether it be our work, whether it be whatever. Fill in the blank for you. And when we get back to that moment of pause, it comes back. And we are faced with the reality that we never actually healed from it. That the hurt still exists. And this cycle can continue as you continue to distract yourself with something new again and again and again, to where you might find that years, decades have gone by in your life. And for myself, I haven't been around that long, but months and years can go by and you are still in the same place you were, because the second you take a pause, that hurt comes back. Now, the other way is a lot more brutal, actually, but only temporarily, and I'll explain why. The other way is not to masquerade the pain, but to feel it completely, to grieve, to let it in, and to let it become a part of you in a new way. Not the lingering pain like a toothache that goes away when you brush your teeth, but comes right back when the cleanliness is gone. But instead, the pain that has taught you something, taught you a lesson, a realization of what hurt means, of what love means, of what it is to actually treat others right and be treated right as well. Because if we think about it, most of the pain we've had in our life, or the disappointment or the anger, has something to do with another person. And it's funny, the people that we love the most are the ones that hurt us the most. And that is because we have lowered our walls to be vulnerable to them. And they're the people that we want to feel the safest with. But in those times, we're all human beings, where we have moments of weakness, moments of lapse of judgment. We do actions that hurt the people we love most, or we have actions inflicted upon us that hurt us so deeply that you're not sure what to do. And in those moments, masquerading can feel right. That is not the right way. And I know that because I myself am guilty of trying to distract myself in work all the time. But as I go through making this video, and I was outside just staring at the stars, wondering how in the world I was going to talk about some of the most painful things in my life to people I may or may not have ever seen before, I realized that this is a universal experience. We've all sat in the darkness under the stars, looking at a sunset, staring at the waves, wherever it might be, wondering what went wrong. How did it end up this way? Why do I feel this way? How does it go away? And the answer is, I don't think it ever completely does. Those feelings just become something new. Pain and suffering comes peace. And that peace is accomplished through taking in the pain and forgiving either yourself for the pain you may have caused to others, or forgiving others for the pain they may have caused to you. And that is truly the step of where you have now given yourself the opportunity to actually move forward. I'll give you a micro example. About 6 years ago, the father to my beautiful dogs, his name was Hiltz Sr. He was a really cool dog. It was the only one we had at the time, the only male that we had at the time, and we were mating him with Taka, the mom. And I had Taka inside with me, and Hiltz was outside, and I left the gate open just like this. And I go outside looking for Hiltz, calling his name, only to discover that he's not there. So I call my neighbor next door. I'm like, hey, Hiltz is gone. Can you help me find him? He says, yeah, of course. And so we're looking around. Can't find him, calling his name. And next thing I know, Eric is his name, was walking towards me carrying something. And as I saw from a distance, I could tell, and I knew, no, he got hit by a car. And I remember when I saw that in the moment, the first thing I thought about was my dad. Because that dog was done so much to help heal my dad through his hard times, and the same for me. We've always wanted German Shepherds, it's our favorite dogs, and I'm blessed with them now, but he was our first one. And I saw him, man, and I just broke down. And I know I'm talking about a pet, beautiful animal, but I've felt this with my uncle, my grandmas, and I'm sure you felt this too, where you just look and you're like, no way, man, no way. And that night, Eric helped me bury him, and we have Hiltz, Jack, Chumley, and Ever underneath a tree outside. But I remember thinking, man, if only I had just closed the gate. And I know accidents happen, things happen in life, but all I could think of was the fact that it was my fault. And I'm sure you can think of an experience where you felt like something bad happened and it was your fault. And in those moments, it's very easy to do one of two things. Again, It's funny, I'm saying these two different things because there's two paths we can take. There's the right one and the hard one, and the one that we default to on accident until we learn. And one is self-deprecation, where you beat yourself up and you find all the things wrong with you and all the things you could have done, and you let it beat you up and knock you down and keep you there for as long as you let it. Or you see that, okay, I did this and it was wrong, but now I gotta make sure I don't do that again the next time. And sometimes in life, moving away from this example of my pup and me leaving the gate open, it could be with your sin. To where you know that this sin is hurting someone you love, and you try so hard to stop it and you just can't, and you don't. And you look at yourself and you're like, what a piece of crap I am. Because not only is this causing pain to me, but it's causing pain to them, and it's causing pain to God. And in those moments, it's so easy to think, I did this, what good can come of these things? And that's where you have to really, really, really dig deep. And realize that as deep as you can dig, the answer is total humility, accountability, and surrender for what you know is wrong. To then accept that what is done is done. To forgive yourself is important because you are forgiven by the Lord. But that path comes from feeling the pain. Feeling the pain once you decide to choose it instead of masquerading. Now the next step is to then choose humble accountability and let it grow you, not let it beat you. I don't know if you guys are anything like me. I sometimes struggle with criticism because I've battled with self-deprecation versus good and healthy accountability. So when anything else comes in, I don't know about you guys, but it's like, dang man, I feel like a dead horse that's just getting kicked. It's like, man, I'm already down. Please don't put me down more. Eventually you get a tolerance for that. And thankfully, as I've come to grow and learn, I don't really feel that way as much anymore. And I'm thankful for that because I know that if the Lord has forgiven me, I ought to forgive myself. And if I want to make peace with whom I've hurt, I ought to ask them for that forgiveness as well. Because forgiveness is a gift. When you forgive yourself, you're giving a gift to yourself to release you of the burdens that you carried from the mistakes that I made. Well, guess what? We're all human. We are not perfect, but we can try to be. And it is that pursuit of trying that changes our heart. It is the pursuit of that trying with a heart that has been opened up and given to the Lord to operate, that allows us to continue to let that operation complete, that allows us to be actually truly healed, for our pains to be mended. But you have to put yourself on the surgery table for you to get surgery done. You have to open it up, and you have to be strong in knowing that if you're giving your heart to God to open you up and to operate on your heart, have peace in knowing that there's no better surgeon in the world. That surgeon has forgiven you, and that is why he comes in and makes amends for the things that hurt you and burden you. So therefore, make amends with yourself. He has given us the gift. Give the gift to yourself. Because once you do, once you give that gift to yourself, you can move forward. And if you can do it once, you can do it again. And that goes for both bad and good things. And there are things that we all struggle with within our sin. I know everybody's different. Lust has always been a tough one for me, not with strangers, but within people closest to me. It's like, I love you. But that's not love. It's not real love. Real love is making space for a healed version of you to accept someone else that may or may not be healed, and and to sit with them and be present with them through their pain. I had a great conversation with a friend of mine today. He's someone I've actually never met in person. I started a race team and Forza online, and he was one of the people I met that was just so cool. Love him. And he was talking about today that he just wants to help people and not feel like he needs to be asked to help them. And I thought, wow, what a profound thing to say. People call upon you for help and you show up, but that's not enough. You want to help more. And I thought, man, how beautiful, but also how rough you are on yourself to feel like the help you give for others isn't enough. And I realized this just recently, and it's something I remember from a long time ago, that it is the little moments and the details that matter. It's the little moments of presence, a quick phone call, a quick hug, a deep moment of silence when you are there for someone that hurts. That not only heals them, but it heals you too. I discovered about myself that in my lowest and most painful moments, I looked for something to love. When I had first failed business the first time, that's when I got Ever, my dog. And I was like, oh man, it's so cool. I got her from the coolest thing I've ever done is help my beautiful girl Taka puppy or dog. They're all pups. Birth to the other dogs. And from day one, I'm like, whoa, this is so cool. But this is a lot. I can imagine what having a baby is like, my goodness. But then as weeks go on, as soon as I noticed that she picked me and I picked her, I'm like, okay, she was with me every day. And I'm like, man, it was healing for me to have something to love. So I've talked about a few things up to this point. Helping others and loving others. Being selfless is fuel also for yourself. It's funny, we are built that way. We are such an interesting creation. Think about it. To heal from pain, you have to feel it and take it in. You have to take in the uncomfortable, to let the uncomfortable make you into something stronger, something wiser, something more careful, something more worthy of holding on to something beautiful in your life and giving it room to fly and grow and leave the nest. And in the same way, when you were hurting so much, I found peace in helping others through their hurt. And what's beautiful is we hurt the Lord every single day with our sin, but He still chooses to love and heal and help us. So all these thoughts, these connections, originations of what is right, facing the pain and not masquerading it, walking through the forgiveness so you can be accountable in a healthy way instead of just beating yourself up. And then when you're hurting, to love upon others, to love upon yourself, and to remember that you are loved by the Lord. Now I could go so much deeper into this hurt, but I think this covers it for you guys. Loss is universal, anger is universal, pain is universal, but it need not be without meaning. Think of all that you've learned. Think of where you are today. Think of what you've overcame. Think of the strength that has been given to you. And think that most of that, if not all of it, came from the hardest moments in your life. Those are the ones that forged the metal that built your character. And they are going to be the ones that continue to do that as life goes on. That will not end in this lifetime. But I do have faith, and when earth is as it is in heaven, that we will be beyond that. But we can't have love without pain, man. It shows you what you really care about. It shows you how to properly take care of the things that you wish you knew how to take care of at first. But the past is gone. What matters is how you handle it next time. So with that, I'm going to share with you some scripture stacked together as I said I have and would, for you to take on to. So what then do we do to remember that we are forgiven and our pain is not without meaning? Look at the birds of the air. They do not sow or reap or store away in barns, and yet our Heavenly Father feeds them. Are you not much more valuable than they? Have I not commanded you, be strong and courageous, to not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. To come to me when you are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. So take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light. So be kind and compassionate to one another, forgiving each other, just as in Christ God forgave you. Be humble and gentle, and bearing with one another in love. For surely the Lord is with you always, to the very end of the age, and He will uplift you. So that wraps up this video. Now, a like and subscribe would be great, but what I would love most of all would be for you guys to check out the link below and join our community, We Behold the Man. It's a place for all of us to grow, for all of us to come together in our hurt and our joy. Now, I know these videos have been a little bit heavy so far, and they will be for a couple more, but I just wanted to be real with you. I want you to know that the person talking to you right now is just another human being that has gone through a lot of the same human experiences that you have. Maybe not exact, but I got an idea. So if this resonated with you, if there's any authentic similarity to you from this video, I look forward to seeing you in our community. I'll see you next time for episode 3.